Hey everyone, Sarah Picaro here. Today's video is going to be about issues that we face in dating after you've been with a narcissist, and then 8 ways to know that you are ready to date again after having experienced or suffered from narcissistic abuse. Many people that I connect with on their journeys to healing tell me they're afraid to date again. They have FODA, which I call fear of dating again. They say, I'm never going to get into another relationship again. And it's really unfortunate to be in that place because we are designed to be in relationships. We're designed to be connected with other people. We're not designed to be isolated and alone. And oftentimes when you are in a narcissistic and abusive relationship, you suffer. You suffer in silence, you suffer alone. You're in a relationship, but you feel even more alone than you would be if you were actually alone or single. So we're going to cover those things today in this video. If you are in that space, you're out of a relationship, you haven't yet done the work, the inner work to healing, the inner work to transformation and feeling completely free, loving yourself and living and loving your life. And you want that because you know that's what it takes to get into a healthy, balanced, stable relationship. Notice they didn't say easy. No relationships are easy. If they feel easy, there's often some more things there that are being hidden and undiscovered. But if you're wanting to get into that place of true transformation and inner healing, a sense of inner peace and inner freedom, please use the links in the description in this video to click on my free masterclass. It'll guide you through that and talk to you about how we could either work one-to-one together or how you can join my Transforming Past Pain to Present Power program so that you can begin doing that inner work to heal. That is truly where this is, like that sacred safe space where you can transform, where you can get rid of those old limiting negative beliefs that you were brought up to believe, that the narcissist had you believe about yourself, that are keeping you in a space of suffering, struggle, and keeping you feeling stuck in all of your relationships today, not just personal and intimate relationships. So let's dive right into this video. We're going to look at issues we face in dating after having been in an emotionally unavailable and emotionally abusive relationship or a relationship with a narcissist, and then 8 ways to know that you're ready. So here we go. The first issue that you face in dating after having been with a narcissist is falling at one extreme or another in the dating world. For some people, there's a tendency to jump into another relationship right away, just after the breakup. I fell into this trap right after my marriage ended. We filed for separation, or I don't even know if it was legal, like a legal separation, but we decided that we were going to separate. 3 weeks later, I was in another relationship with another narcissist because of what we're going to talk about that happened at step 2. But some people, relationship jumpers, that is what I was. I was so codependent. I did not know who I was when I was not in a relationship. I felt scared. I felt that I couldn't make it when I was alone. I didn't believe that even financially, I didn't think I had enough money to support myself. So I needed someone to support me financially. I had just come out of a relationship where I'd been financially supported for almost a decade. And now being on my own made me very scared financially in regards to how I was going to make it, and not having someone else to pay for things. Because right when that relationship ended, I was convinced to quit my job and be at home to support him and his dreams. And part of that, it definitely, you see a lot of that in narcissistic abuse and relationships. So there is a tendency, a big issue after coming out of a narcissistic relationship is to jump into something else right away, right after the breakup, because you're so codependent. And generally that person is someone who preys on people who are in that really vulnerable state. And so you can very easily and very quickly get into a relationship with another narcissist, another person who makes you feel inadequate, who makes you feel like you're not good enough, who makes you feel that you can't make it in this world without them, and you may even feel like you have something to prove. So you step up your game and you talk this high game that you're this incredible person, and you're wearing a mask because internally and inside you don't feel that, because all of those inner unhealed wounds. So there is also the tendency to want to paste over the pain that that is there with this new person. And these intense emotions are really difficult to deal with. So again, you have to pretend that you're not dealing with the intense, difficult emotions. It may be easy to tell yourself that a new person will lift you up and you'll just, become distracted or avoid all of the pain that you're feeling from that last relationship, but you can only hide it for so long. But you may jump into another role and relationship with a person who's a rescuer. And you may be telling them about this hell that you went through with this last person, with the last narcissist. And this person may step in and be the rescuer. I want to save you from everything that you've gone through and all the pain, but no one can do that for you. We all have to process our own pain. So if that's you, you enter into another really unhealthy relationship dynamic, or you do the opposite. This is what I hear a lot from people who were in this space. They isolate themselves from dating completely, from relationships completely. They feel so broken that they adopt this belief and they say these words, I'm never going to date again. I'm never going to get into another relationship. So there's a lot of emotional turmoil. There's a lot of pain that needs to be processed. There's a lot of inner unhealed wounds that need to be addressed and need to be given the time and space to completely heal before jumping into another relationship. But that is one of the main issues that you see after getting out of a relationship with a narcissist, because just jumping into a new relationship is not going to take away all those feelings, all the hurt, all the pain. It's just going to move it, to transfer it, and you're going to project it onto that person, whether you know it consciously or not. But a lot of people think that maybe if I just don't date at all, I'll never get hurt again. Then they say, I never want to go through that ever again. And so it's just better to be alone. But then you feel completely disconnected because we're not wired to be alone. We're wired for connection. Here's the second one. Another issue that you may have after coming out of a narcissistic relationship is pressure. You feel this pressure and you hear this pressure from other people to date again. So if you had people who knew about you in the relationship, and they still see that you're hurting, you're suffering, you're struggling, you still long for what you wanted that relationship to be. And these are generally well-intended people. They will put pressure on you generally to get over it, to put yourself out there, to start dating again. They are trying to help you from not hanging up on that old relationship. And they'll tell you, you're just hanging on to that relationship. You guys have been broken up for a year now, 2 years now, however long it's been. You need to get out there. You need to put yourself out there again. They start to try and encourage you, but it doesn't feel or come across as encouragement. It feels like pressure. Or perhaps they have tuned into your unwillingness to date at the moment, and they maybe set you up on blind dates, or they think that you're isolating when really maybe what's going on is that you're using that time to recover, to make sure that you're really ready. But they perceive it as you self-isolating and put pressure on you to get out there and date again when you're not quite ready, because you are doing the right thing and you are using that time to heal yourself and to get to know yourself again so that you will be ready for the next relationship. There's sometimes this belief out there that recovery includes dating other people. And I was told this as well. The best way to get over someone is to get under someone else. And those are phrases that people say when they're trying to be encouraging and uplifting and say, get over him. That person was an a-hole. Like, move on. You're better than that. Look at you. You deserve way better. There are other fish in the sea. When you've been in an abusive relationship, you may be afraid of the other fish in the sea, or you may know that, but you may not believe that you deserve the fish that will treat you well. We're using that analogy. So especially coming from people who have not experienced narcissistic abuse and have not experienced that type of emotionally unavailable and abusive relationship, they are not going to understand the pressure that they are putting you under and what you have to heal from after you've experienced something like that. So recovery does not have a timetable, and pressure to date after experiencing and suffering from narcissistic abuse can just add to the already internal pressure that you feel and the emotional turmoil that you feel after that relationship ended. There's no, I mean, general rule of thumb is to wait 4 seasons, right? Be single for 4 seasons, but you may need 2 rounds of 4 seasons. You may need 3 rounds of 4 seasons. Who knows? I mean, if you're a busy person and you're working and raising children, you may not be ready to date for a while because maybe you don't want to introduce your kids to another relationship that may be like that. Maybe you want to keep your dating life separate from your home life. And so that may mean that, dating looks different for you. But when you tell other people about your journey and they don't understand it, they may put undue pressure on you to date again and to put yourself out there. So listening to yourself and not to other people is key, is imperative in your journey to healing. Or you may feel like there is something wrong with you because you're not putting yourself out there again. And that belief was implanted in you even before you knew the narcissist. And then the narcissist drove that belief in even further. So you may be struggling with that belief that there's something wrong with you because you're not ready to do what other people are telling you to do. And you feel that pressure to put yourself out there again. So there's that. Another issue after narcissistic abuse and getting into dating after having been with the narcissist is confusion about what to tell the person that you may be getting into this relationship with. How much information do you tell them about your past? How much information do you tell them about your ex, especially if you still have to deal with them? If you have children with this person, do you tell them everything about how horrible and how bad the relationship was? So you may be very, very confused. You may start dating and you may really like this person and see that it could go somewhere and they have a lot of potential. And you don't want to tell them about your past because you're ashamed of it. You're ashamed that you went through all those things with the person and that they might look at you differently when they find out what happened to you in that last relationship. And that if you tell them too much, that might end the relationship. Or just simply telling them what you experience in the narcissistic relationship, they may, because it generally is matched with a really high level of intensity and emotion, they may perceive that you're still hung up on that relationship, even though you are not, even though you're long over it. But being in an abusive relationship, in a relationship with a narcissist, is a big deal. It's not like a normal relationship ending. It's not like, oh, yeah, it's like it just didn't work out with the last one. It's way more than that. And as we know, it is not something that anyone can understand unless they've been through it themselves. And if you're dating someone who has not been through that themselves and you're telling them about your experience, you may be really confused about what to tell them, how to tell them, when to tell them. Yet it is something that is a part of your past and a part of what made you the person that you are today. It's a part of, the triggers that you may have, the boundaries that you're going to be putting into place, where you're coming from, the negotiables and the non-negotiables in a relationship now. And they may not understand about all those boundaries and all that stuff was there in that last relationship with the narcissist. So it is a part of who you are, but it can be really confusing to figure out the right way and the right time, the right place to tell this next potential partner. So when do you talk about it? How do you talk about it? Where do you talk about it, right? How long do you talk about it for? There is no right or wrong answer. You just have to go with that. But there is a lot of confusion. That's one of the issues of coming out of a narcissistic relationship. You may feel that you definitely want to be wary about giving too much detail right away. You don't want to scare this person away, but you may feel like, I have no idea how to talk about this. And because of that, you may feel like we need to talk about it. This is really important. So it may feel like there's this big elephant in the room. And that can, again, trigger you and put you back into a fight, freeze, fawn response. So there's that. The next thing that is an issue after coming out of a relationship with a narcissist is your judgment. It's like you're sober, but you're walking around with like drunk goggle glasses on. Your judgment is impaired, leading into a new narcissistic relationship. You're hypervigilant. You're on hyper alert. You are looking for red flags, and maybe it's not a red flag, but you're hyper aware of red flags because you missed so many of them before and ended so badly. And so you're not going to miss one this time. And sometimes you create some where there are none. And this can happen if you haven't yet taken the time to understand the type of abuse that you experience with a narcissist, that type of emotional abuse. There's tons of good books and resources out there on narcissistic abuse. How I work one-to-one people actually has nothing to do with the narcissist or educating you about that. It's all about transforming and healing your own personal inner wounds and your beliefs, your unconsciously deeply rooted beliefs that you have about yourself. So it's all about self-transformation, not more education on narcissism, but that is an important step in the journey to healing. So if you haven't yet taken the time to understand narcissistic abuse and what happened in the relationship before you start dating again, you may end up with another narcissist, because it can feel like narcissists leave really empty, big black holes inside of you. And you may, if you say you're ready to date again, actually be looking for something external to fill that internal void. So it is important to be aware of everything that you experience with narcissistic abuse. That way, you don't fall into that trap. Sometimes that's what keeps people kind of on the sidelines because of this impaired judgment. They don't really quite understand what happened to them. They don't trust themselves. They don't trust anyone else, and they're afraid of ever going through another relationship like that again. And on the flip side, if you haven't allowed for that component in your steps to healing, it can lead to a lack of understanding how you're abused, and confusion is one of the first signs of abuse. So your judgment is completely skewed and impaired. So there are incredible books out there. Power by Sharia Rabi is one of the ones that I recommend if you haven't read books, or I mean, there's tons of videos out there on narcissistic abuse. I've got a bunch on my other videos as well. So those are the different things to look for and to be aware as potential issues when you begin to think about or begin to date after having been in a narcissistic relationship. So how do you know if you're ready? Good question. There are signs that you're ready. So we're going to go over those 8 signs that you are ready for dating after narcissistic abuse. So the issues with finding someone new after having been with the narcissist can all offer clues about how ready you are. So here are some of the signs that you are ready to move on and begin dating again after narcissistic abuse. The first one is you no longer have strong feelings about the narcissist anymore. I'm going to emphasize the word strong. You are going to have feelings about the narcissist. We have feelings about everything, but you no longer have strong feelings about the narcissist anymore. This does not mean that you've forgotten what they've done to you. This doesn't necessarily mean that you have forgiven them for what they've done to you or for what happened. But if you have intense emotions and intense feelings, strong feelings of anger, grief, guilt, resentment, all of those are going to impact your ability to be who you want to be and attract who you want to attract when you're dating again. If you have really, really strong feelings about the narcissist, that's a warning sign that you're not ready to step into or begin a new relationship. Got to process those. You have to feel those feelings until they no longer need to be felt. You need to process those until they're just kind of just indifferent. So many people that I work with tell me that's exactly where they get. They come in with really strong feelings, a lot of anger, rage, internal guilt, resentment, anger towards the narcissist, towards particular people in their past who's hurt them. Those are the inner unhealed wounds. And then after working together, even after a single session, they say, I'm completely indifferent now. That person could do or say this. And I just go, yeah, okay. And it doesn't trigger me. It doesn't impact me the way that it used to. So that again is where you need to spend your time doing the inner work to heal. If you want to talk more about transformational healing, just use the links in the video description and we can connect. But that's a sign, if you're still holding on to really strong feelings about the narcissist, that you're still traumatized and your judgment is impaired if you're still in that space. A few key things that might tell you it's a bad time to start dating is if you still feel a lot of anger and hatred towards the narcissist, you don't want to get into a dating space. If you're still in love with the narcissist, people tell me this, I still love them. Oh my gosh, then you're not ready to date again. Process that, heal that, go through that. Or if you swing back and forth between the two, if you think, Oh, I hate them. Oh my gosh, I still love them. If you're doing that pendulum dance, you're not ready to date again. Or if you are obsessively reading about narcissism and you can't stop thinking about that narcissist or that person, you're not ready to date again. If you feel so much pain from that relationship that you no longer have the will to live, then you're not ready to start dating again. Please, 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 if that's where you are, just seek professional help, and specifically for that before you do anything else. If any of these things are happening, then you're not ready to date again. You're too early in the stages from getting out of the narcissistic relationship to be healthy enough to begin dating again. You can, don't worry, if you do want to date again, then you just need to have that sacred time and space to heal those inner wounds. It is really dangerous to date while you're still in that stage, and to understand at the beginning of the relationship with the narcissist, you were manipulated. You went through a love bombing phase. You were bombed with love, and it felt intense. It felt incredible. You probably felt like they were the one. You finally found your twin flame, your soulmate, whatever. But slowly over time, what the narcissist does is they erode your ability to detect harm to yourself because of all the gaslighting and the manipulation. So if you haven't taken the time to heal that space, someone else can very easily come in and do that all over again. And you're going to, because your judgment is skewed, you're going to feel and be completely blind to it. So think about it like this. Say that you had a house and your house is hit by a storm or a tornado and completely uprooted. Obviously, you'd be living in a very chaotic space, and maybe it would lose it. You would definitely lose everything if that tornado hit your home, and it would take time to rebuild again. You wouldn't be able to snap your fingers and then your house would be back to the way it was. It takes time to rebuild. It takes time to repair. Same thing with a relationship, not just with the house that gets hit by a tornado. So you might be in that space of wishing that someone else would just come in and be by your side during this really, really painful and difficult time. But that is prime time. And I know this from personal experience because it's how I attracted and allowed the second, even worse, malignant narcissist after the first covert one to come into my life, because that is prime time. That's key time for predators, for narcissists to come in and swoop in and make you feel like they're supporting you and loving you and they're there by your side and joining you in saying how bad that last person was. And you allow it because you're so desperate to get back what you wanted in that last relationship. So that's such a dangerous time. So please, 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 right after the relationship, do not begin dating again. During that time, it's better to rely on the people who truly do care about you, not new people that you're trying to date. Family, friends, support systems, communities, programs, whatever it is. Allowing people into your space in that time who you know that you can trust, not new people, not strangers, not people you want to date or get into a relationship with. And if you feel that there's no one in your life right now that you can count on, there are tons of support groups online. Be careful of staying in there for too long, because they're too long, it can impede your ability to heal. But that would be the next step to take. And it's really beneficial to you in every area of your life and every part of your life to begin to rebuild and to begin to process and work through what you went through, and to relay that foundation, and to begin to trust yourself. As painful as it is, you have to feel it in order to heal it. And that's the journey that we go through, is in healing yourself and my transforming past pain to present power program. So there's links in the description for that as well. But the second way that you'll know you're ready, the first one was if you no longer have strong feelings for the narcissist. The second one is that the qualities that you used to find appealing about that narcissist are no longer attractive to you. In the beginning, narcissists are seemingly confident, passionate, they're charming, they're charismatic, they're exciting, and in and of themselves, those are all good and positive qualities, but they're used and abused when they're in their hands of a narcissist. So all of those qualities that you used to find appealing about that narcissist, you will know you're ready to date again when those are no longer attractive to you. Everyone who has charming, confident, charismatic, positive traits is not a narcissist. You're a narcissist if you lack emotional empathy and you use and abuse people. So those traits are that what the narcissist does is they copy you, they mirror you. And so if they feel that you want empathy, they feel that you want generosity, they're going to appear to give that to you in a relationship. So we can get tricked or confused into thinking that a relationship without respect or trust or honesty is one based on love, because we had that experience with the narcissist. But once you recognize that there is more to love than just chemistry, then you will be much better off. The narcissist will use that chemistry in the love bombing phase to make you feel that it's love, but there's generally a lot of other things lacking, and there are red flags that indicate that those things are lacking. But they will have you believe that all you need to make a relationship work is just chemistry, and the chemistry is love. It's not just that. But you were told that so that they can control you. So the narcissist will prime you for this idealization devaluation pattern. So they will put you into a space where you begin to idolize them, and then they begin to devalue you. And then they'll do something that you idolize, and then they'll devalue you. And whenever your emotions are like that, high and low, you find it really, really difficult to focus and to think. And then anyone who comes in after that, you compare to the narcissist who was in your life. And if this next relationship or partner or interest is not the high and low, does not idealize and then devalue, idealize and then devalue you, you think they're boring. Most healthy relationships do seem really boring because they're not up and down and up and down and up and down, because they're ones based on true respect. There's a foundation of respect. And when you're in that space, it can seem like, oh, wait a minute, this last one was so fun and so exciting. We did all these things, but then it was horrible. But then we did this, and then it was horrible again. And a healthy relationship doesn't work like that. So you may think that, maybe fast talking people or flashy people who love bomb you and flatter you incessantly when you first meet, those are the only kind of people that you're interested in, because that's what you had in the past. But that's actually a warning sign. So if you are either bored by normal people, you've got some work to do. And you've got to do the work until you find that those qualities that used to be appealing about the narcissist are no longer appealing or attractive to you. Here's the next thing. Narcissists love to rush things. The sooner they can get you locked down, the better. I remember the narcissist asking me to move in after a month, and I wasn't ready. I was actually still technically married on paper. So he didn't care though. They want to move very, very quickly. They want to move really fast. They will push you to move fast. They will rush things. Narcissists do not like to go slow. So you will know that you're ready to date again when you no longer have that urge for a relationship to move really quickly. You're not thinking about marriage. You're just thinking about having a good time and going on a date and seeing if you like that person, not wondering, do they like me? Do they like me? What do they think about me? You are entering into the dating space when you don't have the urge to rush things, when you're thinking, I'm going to see if I even like them, what I like about them, what I don't like about them, and I'm ready to take it slow. When you don't have the urge to rush things and move forward quickly, that's a good sign. But if you do have that urge and you're thinking, well, oh my gosh, what if we get married? Whoa, slow down. That means you're not ready. You may have that still, because narcissists leave you feeling empty or hollow, and feel like that it's not going the right pace if it's not going super, super fast. So if you feel the need to jump into something else right away, because that's what the narcissist did, or you're doing it to get some kind of revenge on the narcissist to prove to them that someone else wants you, I remember feeling that as well, or to prove to yourself that you're not the defective one, that the narcissist tried to make you believe that you were. So you want to prove to them. And if you can jump into another relationship right away, you think you're going to prove to them, see, I'm not as bad as you said I was. This person likes me. That's really unhealthy. And that's a trap that you're going to get stuck in. But if you no longer have the urge to rush a relationship, that's a sign that you're ready to date again. Uh, Number 4, if you don't have the urge to tell people that you are getting to know or date a lot about the relationship early on, sure, you can talk about it like when it comes up later on, but you're not going to sit there over your first date while you're getting to know this person and tell them everything about your last narcissistic relationship. But sometimes people have that urge to just get it out and like, "Rah!" and have that person go, oh my gosh, right? It's not a good sign. And that's not a healthy sign. That's not a sign that you're ready to date again. So if you no longer have the urge to tell new people that you're dating about anything about the last relationship, if they asked, it just, it didn't work out, and not go into the vivid and excruciating details about it, that's a good sign. So if you feel that you need to unburden yourself, or even worse, justify your own actions and tell them about what you did, and then justify and defend and explain it with a new relationship, there are different reasons for this. One of the reasons you're still caught in that emotional turmoil, is you're still riding that emotional roller coaster. You haven't done enough inner work to heal. But if you start having feelings or emotions like I need to justify myself, that's a sign that you're still working through being a victim of that. So at that point, use your own judgment if you are dating someone at that point. But I would encourage you, if you are still feeling that you're not yet dating someone, you're not yet ready to. If you're looking back on that relationship, the narcissistic relationship, and you no longer feel broken by the relationship, because that's one of the first things you feel, is you feel broken, you feel tainted, you feel jaded, you feel messed up from that relationship. But if you're looking at yourself and and that last relationship, and you no longer feel broken by that relationship, you actually have done the inner work to heal, and now you feel stronger because of it. Now you have gotten to know yourself and love yourself on a new and better level than you ever have before, and you feel put back together from that last relationship that left you feeling broken. That's a good sign. That's a sign that you're ready to move forward and date again. Many people say that, especially the people that I work with, they begin to refer to themselves as the old me and the new me, because they go through this inner healing experience and this transformation. And so they no longer feel broken and shattered. They now feel put back together in an even better way, kind of like that analogy with the Japanese pot. They use the gold to put themselves back together, and they're stronger. They're more beautiful. They're a better version of who they was because they experienced that. And they become actually thankful that they went through that, because now they're stronger and better, and now they love themselves, and now they know their worth and their value. So if you no longer feel tainted or broken by that last narcissistic relationship, that's a good sign. However, dating while still feeling broken is a recipe for disaster. Again, that's an invitation for someone to sense the brokenness, to smell it, to come in and offer this quick fix. And there is no quick fix. There's no quick fix in a good relationship. So you've got to take the time to do the inner work to heal. Then you will attract someone or be with someone who values that as well. That's a good start for a healthy relationship. The 6th sign that you're ready to date again is that you have forgiven yourself. You have forgiven yourself. You've released the things that no longer serve you. Narcissists throw massive amounts of piles of guilt and shame on top of you for things that are not your fault. And in addition to that, you more than likely have acted in ways and done things that you may regret. So a sign that you're ready to move forward in dating and get into another relationship is that you've forgiven yourself for those past things. You've forgiven yourself, and you've released and processed the guilt and the shame that you were carrying through that relationship, and then carrying even when you got out of that relationship, and process healing yourself or forgiving yourself for staying with someone who hurt you so deeply. And if you're not there yet, you're not ready to get into another relationship. You are ready to get into another relationship when you can show, express, and carry gratitude and compassion towards yourself, and not act from a place of fear or shame or desperation anymore. When you've worked through anxious attachment styles or avoidant attachment styles, or whatever it was that you had because of that narcissistic relationship. Because until you do that, you're going to continue to find yourself in a string of unhealthy relationships. 2 more. So number 7, You know you're ready to date again when you no longer feel confused by potential red flags in everyone you date. So say you're early on in your dating experience and you're unsure, was that a red flag? They said this, and you're texting all your friends, hey, what would you do? Was that a red flag? And you're not looking outside of yourself. You feel it and you know and you trust within yourself to identify a red flag, or to at least kind of put it there and say, I may not know yet, but it didn't go unnoticed. So when you no longer feel confused by potential red flags, you're thinking, well, I don't know, I'm not sure. And a lot of people are in that space. They're like, no, I think I've done the inner work to heal, but I still really don't. What is a red flag? Oh, you're not ready to date again if that's you. So you're armed. You probably spend hundreds and thousands of hours watching YouTube videos like this, reading books about how narcissists act and how to identify an abusive relationship. And now that information, what it is doing for you, it's serving as a filter. With everyone we encounter, we're looking and we're thinking, narcissist, yes or no? Narcissist, yes or no? How do I know? I want to make sure that I know because I never want to go through that ever again. And now I can read the narcissism checklist in my mind, and I'm going through that checklist as I'm talking to this person. I know what to look for. But with this knowledge, we might find that everywhere we go and everyone we meet, we're putting little red flags over their head. We like see that little red flag raising. Not everyone is a narcissist, and people who are not narcissists are going to have red flags. So you'll know you're ready to date when you're not thinking they're a narcissist, that was a red flag. That they were a red flag. Oh, that's a narcissist. And you're putting everyone through that filter. So when you are aware of what red flags are and you're not confused by them and you're not creating them, you're strong, you're confident, you trust and you believe in yourself, and you're very aware, but you're not like hyper looking for red flags and trying to label and identify everyone that you come across as a narcissist. So when you have zipped up and firmed up your boundaries and you know your negotiables and your non-negotiables, but that's a process as well, but it's a process of dating. And again, this is where going slow, not rushing or moving too fast, really, really benefits you, because that way you're not as emotionally invested. If you're moving too fast, it's really easy to get emotionally invested and miss the red flags when you move too fast. Okay. All right. The last one, number 8. You know you're ready to date again when you can adequately sum up what happened to you in your own mind, understand why it happened, understand like where it came from, the connections that led to that experience with a narcissistic partner. When you can see that vision and you can see that picture clearly, there's no more missing pieces to it. Understand it, get it. I know exactly what it was within me. I understand what I believed. I know where that belief came from. I have now transformed it. I've healed it. And I can see this now clearly. When it makes sense to you and you can sum it all up, then you're ready to step into the dating pool and world again. When you understand what attracted you to the narcissist and what attracted him or her to you, when you understand how they were able to keep you in the relationship for as long as they did, when you understand why you stayed in the relationship for as long as you did, when you understand that nothing you ever did was going to change the outcome or fix or change that person. And when you can think about those things easily, quickly, and clearly without getting lost and chasing this rabbit down this trail of, well, why and what if and ruminating and those things that prevent you from being able to sleep and keep you up at night, when you can quickly, clearly, and easily identify, verbalize, and think about those things, then you're ready to date again. When you can accept the reality without becoming emotional over it. I can talk about both of my last narcissistic relationships very easily because I've done the inner work to heal and process and transform from those. So now it's just like, meh, this is the way it is now. When you can accept what happened and know that it doesn't mean that you agree with what the narcissist did or agree with their version of their distorted virtual reality, when you can accept that, then you're ready to date again. The narcissist is going to have their own story about it. And when you can accept, they're going to have their own story about it, right? And there's two sides to every story. Accepting it just means that you're able to say it happened. And then you say it happened and you let it go. It doesn't mean that what they did to you and the type of abuse you experienced was okay. So those are all signs that you are ready to date again. And if you have stepped into the dating pool and you've tried it and it's not working, or it's making you feel worse, step back out. No one says you have to swim in that pool forever. You can get in, you can get out, you can date, and then you can take a break. And sometimes that's a good thing. After you've done the inner work to heal, to start dating again and see where you're at. You may not be ready. It doesn't mean that once you say, oh, I'm going to date again, that you have to date forever after that. You may step back out of the pool and say, you know what? I'm good. I had a short relationship with this person, and I've now identified some other areas in my own life that I want to continue to give attention and love to, and that I want to heal. So these are tips that I hope help you to identify where you're at, and if you feel like you're ready to date again, or if you're not, again, if you are ready to do the inner work to heal, to return to a normal life and become the best possible you that you can be, get into a life that you love, a life that excites you to wake up in the morning, and a life that you never thought possible or available after having experienced narcissistic abuse. I would love to connect with you. Would love to talk to you more about my program or working one-to-one together using transformational healing to transform that past pain to present power and completely rewrite your life. So again, there are links in the video below the description. I hope this video has been helpful to you to see where you're at, and if you feel like you're ready to date again and understand the issues that may come up when you begin that journey. So thank you guys. As always, like this video, comment, share, subscribe, all of those wonderful, loving, juicy things, and I'll see you soon. Bye.